Thus far, 68 head of stock have been killed, sheep, goats, and pigs, and so on. And all of the killings that I personally have viewed have been killed by dogs. The kills have been made by dogs. I have not heard but one report indicating a killing made by a cat.
Well, now, why do you say they're made by dogs if you'll admit that they have a big cat up there and a lot of killings? How can you tell?
Dogs will go in a pack, and the animal will have scratches all over it, and a very small portion will be eaten. Whereas cats, whenever they go in to make a kill, they go in usually singly, and they go in, they take one animal. They usually break its neck. They hit it about the shoulders, reach around, pull the animal's head around to breaking its neck, and then when the animal is dead, they go into the stomach, eating first the stomach. Now, mountain lions have the reputation of dragging their prey back and away where they can come back in a day or so and eat. A big mountain lion, if we had a wild mountain lion here in the state of Oklahoma, we would know it within 48 hours.
Yes, I presented on television last night the affidavits, the sworn testimony of 2 state employees who testified that they were forced and coerced to support and work for, at night, Mr. Atkinson by typing mail for him and letters and so forth. I think this, that Mr. Atkinson, if he's sincere about his campaign, would issue a statement advising state employees that he doesn't want them to help and that they don't have to help if they're being forced to do it. But his obvious failure to do so is further evidence of the fact that he is receiving such help from state employees and accepts it and wants it.
Of course, the statements sound positively ridiculous to me. In other words, they are intimating that, as they have all along, that the administration has backed me in this governor's race.
Mr. Atkinson, your campaign headquarters mailed out a letter yesterday which intimated, I believe, that the state employees might possibly be in for mass firing if Mr. Edmondson were elected. Is this what the letter referred to?
Well, now, I'll tell you, the headquarters is busy as ours is, and I'm sure that Mr. Edmondson's is the same. I did not know that such a letter had gone out, but they had good reason for sending such a letter because, as you remember, in the very first talk that Mr. Edmondson made on television, he pointed out that, in his opinion, we had at least 25% more people on the state payrolls than we needed, and then about a week before the election, he distributed handbills throughout the state capitol telling everyone to rest at ease, their job would be secure with him as governor of Oklahoma. Another one of his inconsistencies.
The Veterans Administration treat every veteran regardless of his ability to pay and regardless of whether he has service-connected disability. Number 2, the expense of treating veterans in Veterans Hospital is about 4 times that of treating the same condition in civilian hospitals. Here we know that many of the veterans treated in Veterans Hospital are financially able to pay. We know further that at least 80% of the veterans treated in Veterans Hospital have non-service connected disabilities for which they're treated.
What action is your group taking on this, Doctor?
We have taken action with resolution presented to the Veterans Administration 2 years ago, from which we received some correction. At the present time, we have 3 members of the County Society in Washington meeting with the Veterans Affairs Committee discussing these problems.
Doctor, do you have any comment on the charges of the Oklahoma County Medical Society?
In my position, I do not feel that I can take a public stand on the issues to be discussed. I feel it would be very unfair for me to be placed in a position to pass judgment on policy matters which are made at central office as a result of congressional legislation. The issues in question have been turned over to the Veterans Administration Central Office in Washington and the House Veterans Affairs Committee for action.
"20 seconds, smoke rocket away. Switch telemetry recorders. 10 seconds, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire! With rapidly mounting speed, the Skylark rocket thunders into the sky. Cameras follow it as far as possible, but even when far out of sight, ground receivers continue to follow the radio beacon, plotting the rocket's course high into the upper atmosphere, where, for a few brief minutes, scientific measurements are made in the new and strange environment of outer space.
Mr. Fox, has Mr. Atkinson made any promises to you or your group?
No. No, he hasn't. The only thing is that Mr. Bill Atkinson has come out on a definite program for the old folks, and the candidate from Tulsa has not.
My understanding was this morning that Mr. Atkinson said that he was going to, if the whiskey question were endorsed by the people and we had legal whiskey in Oklahoma, 50% of the proceeds of the state portion of the proceeds would go to the old folks program.
That's right, and that'll give us about $8,500,000 more dollars, not only from the sale of whiskey in Oklahoma, but we'll get that much more from the federal government, make us about $17 million for a welfare program. So we feel that Mr. Atkinson is a man that we should have in the governor's office. And another thing is looks like we're going to have a war. We hope not, but if we do, why, Mr. Atkinson's a more developed man and an older fella and be able to make more important decisions.
Do you think that any of your constituents, the old people, would have any objections to taking money that is derived from sale of whiskey?
Well, of course, Mr. Atkins has announced he's dry, and so are we. But yet, if the people of Oklahoma voted in
well, then we feel that we'll take the 50%.
Yes, that is correct. And we feel also that that is finally one good thing that might come out of having a lot of liquor flowing in Oklahoma. Certainly it could be put to no better use if we're going to derive taxes and revenue from the sale of liquor, to see to it that it goes to make life a little bit easier for the people who have labored so long and hard to make this state as great as it is.